Hey guys, I know I'm a little late on this video, but I've been dealing with some really tough injuries. Uh, but I'm back now and I'm about to go crazier than ever. But the UFC Shanghai card was an absolutely insane card almost all the way through. There is a little bit of dull moments here and there, but it started off amazing. So we'll start off with the early prelim opener of Yoron Sotibaldiev versus Dr. Nergashe. Literally, the first punch Euron lands wobbles Nergashe horribly bad, and Nergashe shoots takedown. He can't quite get it, and Euron pulls a Kimura and uses that to sweep and end up on top. And then from mount, he pulls a fucking Ezekiel choke and actually gets the tap. Fourth one in UFC history. I knew it was going to be a generational card the moment that shit happened. Next up on the fight card, we have Long Zhao versus Yu Sung Yu. Yu Su Young. This fight was an absolute crazy war, but it didn't start out like that. At first, it was just Yu Su Young outstriking Long Zhao at range for the first round and a half. Things started to pick up towards the end of round two, and round three was absolute madness. I mean, the final minute of the fight, they're standing in front of each other, trading elbows back and forth, and I can't understand how no one's gone down yet. It was an absolutely insane fight, and it was only two fights in. Next up, we have Yi Jia versus Weston Wilson. The Grim Reaper came. Jesus fucking Christ. Weston Wilson got put out bad. It wasn't even fun to watch. It was like 36, 37 seconds into round one. And I knew the fight was going to be over very soon after Weston Wilson got tagged a couple times, and commentary said, Weston Wilson told us in the fighter meeting he's been working on keeping his hands up. You're a 36-year-old professional fighter. What do you mean you've been working on keeping your hands up? You don't belong here. Go back to IT. Coach. I think he'd make a great jiu-jitsu coach for an actual prospect, but I don't think he should continue fighting. He's taking too much brain damage. And it's like every year I have to see him get flatline KO'd. Next up, we have one of the craziest upsets of the night in Kyle Dawkins versus Mikel Pereira. It's going. It was like a very quick fight. Didn't even last a full minute. But Mikel Pereira is doing his Mikel Pereira thing, dancing in and out of range, landing massive body kicks, massive hooks. And Kyle Dawkins just followed him out of an exchange, caught him directly on the chin with a right hook, and then put him out cold with elbows. Absolutely insane upset. Kyle Dawkins is back. And it's a weird thing to say. But I'm not mad that I get to say it. Next up, we have Rong Zhu versus Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard was in the best shape I've ever seen him in his career. But it didn't matter. He was still slow as fuck. It was no real finishing ability. And, Rong Zhu kind of just did his thing at range for about 3 rounds. There's an argument for giving Hubbard, I think, round 2. But other than that, it was just a close competitive fight and a nice little scrap at 5 a.m. Next up, we have Lonnie Kavanaugh versus Charles Johnson. And this was one of the funniest fights I've ever seen. So round 1, Loner Kavanaugh completely shuts out Charles Johnson. But the entire time I'm thinking, Loner Kavanaugh's throwing really heavy and really often and like too much. There's no way he can keep this pace for 3 rounds. In halfway through round 2, I drop my phone. I pick up my phone. I look back up. Loner Kavanaugh is flying through the air completely unconscious. Charles Johnson hit that man with the right hook from hell and sent him flying. And then the ground and pound to finish him off. And then Charles Johnson gets on the mic and starts speaking damn near perfect Mandarin and completely threw the translator off. The translator was staring like, eyes bulging out of her head. Like, what do you mean he's speaking Mandarin? Where did he learn this? Why is it good? Why is he having the right enunciation and vocal inflections? It made no sense that Charles Johnson just pulled that out of fucking nowhere, but it was a very, very, very fun thing to see. And next up on the card, headlining the prelims, we had Gage Young versus Mahashate. And this was just Gage Young being more of a dog. Mahashate would land from time to time and it'd be really heavy and impactful. But Gage Young just went for it. 3 rounds straight, he just went for it. And went after Mahashate. And I think he clearly won the fight. Especially as the fight went on. Like, round 1 was close, but round 2 and 3 was all Gage Young. Gage Young was on the pressure, moving forward, swinging big, landing big. He was getting cracked here and there, but he was going for it. At the at the main card opener, we had this. I forgot how to say his name. Like Naraji, I think his name is, fighting Kiefer Crosby, and there's a lot of controversy in this fight. I don't think there should be that much controversy, but I get it. Kiefer Crosby's getting dominated, and then on the way up, he gets blasted to the face with a knee straight up the middle, blatantly illegal knee, and it basically knocks him out. Goddard takes 2 points for Naraji, allows the fight to continue, and 30 seconds later, Naraji gets a TKO finish. Should it have been restarted? No. This should have been an automatic DQ. Don't just take 2 points. Kiefer Crosby was out cold, and there was no recovering. This isn't an Iron Turtle situation where his eye just swelled up and he needed some time for the swelling to go down. This was, oh, he was out cold. Let's send him back out there 30 seconds later to take more brain damage. And 2, I think knees to the grounded opponent should be legal. Why was Kiefer Crosby just chilling on one knee? Stop pulling guard. Because that was basically what Kiefer Crosby was doing, was just pulling guard and then trying to kind of half-ass get back up. Fuck you, get blasted in the face with a knee. In almost every other rule set, other than the unified rules, knees to the head of a grounded opponent are legal because in a fist fight, you shouldn't be safe on your knees in front of your opponent. I'm sorry. It sucks that Kiefer Crosby got blasted like that, but it is what it is. Get off your knees in a fight. Stop pulling guard. Get back to range and be safe. Keep your hands up. Instead of just, here's my chin, here's my face. Knee me. And then, but that's basically all that fight happened. It ended in the first round, so there's not much to break down. But the next 3 fights were all decisions, so there's a lot to break down. Starting with Sumer Derji versus Kevin Borjas. 3-0 schooling. It was just an absolute schooling and striking from Sumer Derji. Kevin Borjas couldn't get off the gas, couldn't close that distance. Was just a 1-2 merchant the entire fight. You're being outranged, you're being outjabbed, he's side-kicking you. Mix it up, throw some fucking hooks. He had like one moment where he kind of knocked Muderji off balance. Muderji recovered immediately, then blasted him with a head kick. Like, the fight ended with like the final bell ringing and Muderji's throwing kick combinations. I mean, front kick, side kick, spinning back kick, jumping kick. He was just throwing all these kicks and landing all of them on Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas is ass and has no business fighting any good competition. Leave him as a gatekeeper for like the Jose Ochoas. And then next up we have the feature fight of the main card of Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Sergey actually got it done, but Waldo was looking really, really good. I mean, not that good. Very, very basic attacks. But he was really tough. He stayed in there. I've seen other heavyweights not be able to take the kind of shots Waldo was taking with no problem. I mean, at the end of round 3, he got his nose broken open and he was still calling him forward to go to war. Was swinging crazy. Have to admit he was leading a lot with his head, especially early, causing a lot of head clashes. I think he was trying to get like the Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon like bullshit stoppage where he just like headbutts him out cold and then like ground and pounds him. But he was landing some really good shots and he took a lot of really good shots too. But this was mainly Sergey Pavlovich on the pressure, throwing more, landing more. But it was a very, very close fight. There was very, very few strikes that were thrown that weren't significant. Both of them were barely using jabs. They were just swinging for the fences. And they were landing on each other. And every time they'd land, you'd see, there's something going on here. I definitely saw Sergey get wobbled a couple times, but recover from it. You could literally see the muscles in his neck tense every time he got cracked on the chin. And Waldo was staying in there. And there was times where I thought he was going to get KO'd. And he stayed in there. But next up, we have the co-main event. Fuck both of these niggas. High key. Fuck you, Aljamain Sterling. Fuck you, Brian Ortega. I showed up to watch a high-level grappling match, not Brian Ortega get schooled on the feet by Aljamain Sterling waddling in and out of range with his fucking chin high up in the air. And in round 4, he still, like, when Brian Ortega said, fuck all this fancy shit, and just decided to go for it, he was literally walking down Aljamain. Landing whatever he wanted, almost put him out. And I couldn't understand for the life of me why we didn't have like the cool high-level grappling matchup that we all wanted to see. When they did have the grappling, it was very fun and entertaining to watch. It was a 25, but the majority of the 25 minutes was a stand-up fight, and it was ass. It was not fun to watch. It's just Ortega's fainting, sitting there, fainting, getting his eyes swollen shut damn near from Aljamain's little pillow jabs and weird hooks and overhands as he waddles in and out of range, and Brian Ortega's entirely too weight drained to do anything about it. And Aljo made it a point to show off his striking. Dog thought he was Lerone Murphy. I'm not even joking. He even said it in his post-fight interview. Not the one in the octagon, but the one backstage. That he didn't understand how Lerone Murphy could do it. He literally threw a spinning elbow and expecting to knock Brian Ortega out cold. Brian Ortega ignored it and he just kind of broke his elbow. Now he has bursitis in the elbow. It's the funniest fucking shit. It's like the funniest reality check that he's not a striker. But refused to grapple the entire fight. It was really fucking annoying. And it was a very boring fight to watch. And then this nigga calls for a shot with Alexander Volkanovski. Nigga, didn't you lose to Mavzar a year ago? Calm down. Fight Yair Rodriguez. Calm down. And in the main event, we have Johnny Walker versus Zhang Minyang. And I've never felt more like a bitch in my entire life. Because halfway through the card, I switched my pick to Johnny Walker after making an entire video saying why Zhang Minyang's gonna win. But, no, this was Zhang Minyang was walking forward, landing really good. Almost every time he landed on Johnny Walker was visibly wobbled, visibly shaken. Johnny Walker could have his guard up. Zhang Minyang could land on the guard and Johnny Walker would go flying. Somehow stayed with it. And in round 2, Johnny Walker, he's landing the jab, landing the leg kick. They're going leg kick for leg kick. And then Johnny Walker just lands one more leg kick because Zhang Minyang refused to check a single leg kick Johnny Walker threw. And his leg completely fucking shuts off. Like, straight up Cheeto Vera versus Sean O'Malley 1. I hit the perennial nerve, and now you can't walk anymore. And it was the funniest shit to watch because Johnny Walker can never win a fight normally. It's always got to be some goofy bullshit. And there goes the UFC's market in China because no one cares about Zhang Weili despite her being one of the most fun, entertaining, and most accomplished fighters on the roster. But until then, that was the UFC Fight Night Shanghai card and my recap of it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you get notified when I post. I'm back. I back.